let me tell you what social conditioning is. It's the sociological process of training individuals in a society to respond in a manner generally approved by the society in general and peer groups within society. What that really means is you have a few people at the top. You have privileged, wealthy, powerful people that have a narrative that they want everybody else to follow. Okay? Whether it's true or not, this is what they want you to think. Hey YouTube, Patrick here. This is my second video. My first video, I described my UFO sighting. I thought that would be a good place for me to start. My reality has been for a long time now that UFOs are real, okay? And all that that entails. And what it entails is that there is life in the universe, there's intelligent life in the universe, and there's intelligent life that is more technologically advanced than us. That enables them to get here, okay? So after I had my sighting, all three of those things fell into place. I mean, you have NASA going to Mars with rovers looking for, microbes, fossils of microbes. And that's cool, okay? Nobody thinks they're crazy for doing that. They think that's perfectly fine science. You have SETI that's been around for a long, long time. As a matter of fact, I used to do SETI at home where I used my personal computer to try to download, I would download packets from them and my computer would analyze it. I'd use my processor power to analyze packets to try to see if there was some kind of signal coming from certain sections of the sky to see if there was repeating patterns to detect extraterrestrial life, okay? And the people that work at SETI, it's science, so people don't look down on them. But now if you have a UFO sighting, you're crazy, according to the general population. Why is this? Where did that come from? That you can't believe what you see. Everybody else that hears about it, they think if you tell people, certain people anyway, well, they're going to think there's something wrong with your head, okay? And it's been that way for a long time. It seems like I can remember newspaper clippings and sighting details way back in the 40s and 50s, things like that. And it was like a give and take discussion on that. Not anymore, or it hasn't been for a long time, that you have to be careful. If you have a really good sighting, or if you believe in the ideal that there is life all throughout the universe, people are going to look at you a little differently, okay? A lot of people are going to think that maybe you're not all there, you're a little crazy, and that's one of the reasons I never went on record with my sighting, even though it was a very, very good one, okay? I didn't ask for it. I didn't really necessarily want it, but it happened. It was a 1 in a million thing, okay? When I had my sighting, the more I thought about it, I thought, wow, it was like I saw behind the curtain. Okay, I mean, like I said, you've got people now looking for little clues of life out there. And I hit the mother lode. I mean, I found out that there was life out there. I found out that there was intelligent life out there. I found out that there was life out there that has a greater level of technology than us, that's figured out a way around the speed of light speed limit. And they're here. Only thing was, I had nobody to talk to about it. I was afraid to talk to anybody about it, okay, back then. This sighting happened 73, as to the best of my knowledge, okay? But who could I tell? Even my mom, who was with me when I saw these things, didn't even want to talk about it. I mean, it was so far outside of her perceptions and her worldview that she didn't want to talk about it because she had no idea what it was. Me, on the other hand, I had a little bit of background in science fiction. You know, Star Trek, when I was like 8 years old, was one of my favorite TV shows when I got to watch it. I read a lot of comic books. That was my brother's. So that helped me to process all that. But other people weren't like that. So my sighting was like on a Saturday evening. You think when I went to school Monday, I told anybody about it? Hell no. You think I wanted to go through school, through middle school and high school, being thought of as the UFO guy, the guy that believes in little green men? No, absolutely not. And even after that, of course, you know, life goes on. I was busy, you know, trying to get an education, get a job, try to keep a girlfriend, you know, those kind of things. But I really had nobody to talk to. Back then, there was no Reddit groups or anything else that you could go to and talk to like-minded people. That just didn't exist back then. So I pretty much went most of my life without being able to tell anybody about my sighting, except for like my son and my brother and a few others that believed in me and believed that what I saw was real. I think things have gotten better today. The government has released little snippets. You know, they've released a video of 2 sightings. I think they called one gimbal, they called one fast mover, that was witnessed by some pilots on the Nimitz. A couple years back before that, they released some of the old classified UFO photos that were made back in the 40s and 50s. But I don't think you're ever going to have anybody from the government just come out and say, hey, yeah, you know, we've been lying to you all this time, and yeah, they're around. No, that's not going to happen. But my deal was, I got to thinking about it, and where did this attitude come from? This attitude that people have, you know, if you bring up a subject like UFOs, they automatically think that maybe you're unbalanced, or you have a mental issue, or you didn't see what you thought you saw. So I started doing some research on it, not much, but you know, I happened to look on the internet, and I got to the wiki page about Project Blue Book. And I found a lot of interesting things there. Now, I don't believe everything I read on the internet, but what I saw made a lot of sense to me. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps me out, gives me motivation to keep making more of these. The other thing I want to tell you guys, look, I'm not a ufologist. I'm not an astronomer. I'm not an expert in this field. Everything I'm telling you is my opinion. I'm not somebody that studied this stuff day in and day out for years and years. I'm somebody that had a sighting a long time ago and have had a great interest in the field. I didn't let it consume me. I just went along with my life, but I do have a lot of questions and I have a lot of thoughts on the subject. So this may bore the person that is an expert at this, but I think for a lot of people that are just getting into this subject or have just had a sighting, may find some value. So if you like it, please like and subscribe, and that gives me motivation to keep producing these videos. Okay. Now for a little history lesson. Okay. Back in June 24th of 1947, you had Kenneth Arnold, who had the sightings around Mount Rainier in Washington, saw 9 UFOs. And in that same year, that's when you had the Roswell crash, where, you know, one day they say, wow, we found a flying disc. And then the next day, that, oh yeah, it's just a weather balloon. All right, now at the end of 47, that's when the government came along and they started Project Sign. And they lasted for about a year, and their conclusion was, hey, there's something going on. UFOs seem to be real. So, of course, they shut that down very quick. In 48, they started Project Grudge. And the main thing with that is they tried to just out and out debunk everything. That didn't work very good either. Okay? So at the end of 51, they stopped Project Grudge. In 52, they started Project Blue Book. That's one pretty much most people know about. In July of 52, the CIA stepped in and they established what was called the Robinson Panel. Okay? And the Robinson Panel recommended the Air Force de-emphasize the subject of UFOs and embark on a debunking campaign to lessen public interest. Interesting, isn't that? They also were said to use mass media, including Walt Disney Productions, psychologists, astronomers, and celebrities to ridicule the phenomena. Well, maybe that's why when I had my sighting, I couldn't really talk to anybody about it because they did their jobs pretty good. They also said civilian UFO groups should be watched. I think that's still going on today. They recommended controlling public opinion through a program of official propaganda and spying. Wow. Kind of makes a lot of sense if it's a subject they don't want you to bring about, and run around, hey, I saw a UFO. This kind of thing will kind of make you not want to tell anybody about it. Okay. Project Blue Book, I think they shut down around 68 or 69. Of course, they were under this mandate also. So their end results and findings basically said that UFO sightings were a result of a mild form of mass hysteria. They were made to perpetrate a hoax. They were made by psychopathological people. And it was because of misidentification of conventional objects. Well, duh. Yeah, that sounds like a little bit of social conditioning to me. They wanted you to think what they thought, that UFOs weren't real. Well, they knew they were real, but they wanted you to think that they weren't. Okay, that's the whole point of this. So that's kind of your history lesson. And if there's people that don't believe in conspiracy theories and that kind of thing, and there's a lot of conspiracies going on even today. Okay, I've tried not to get political, but really anytime you deal with anything the government is doing, it's political. But these people, they did a really good job of messing with people's heads. They told people that UFOs don't exist. And anybody that thinks they do is crazy. That's the bottom line. And like I said, if you don't believe in these kind of conspiracy theories, you just went through one. For the past 2.5 years, the mainstream media, politicians, celebrities, what were they saying? Our president was a Russian spy. I mean, that sounds like some kind of paperback novel that you would pick up at a dime store, okay? But this is the narrative they pushed for 2.5 years. What was this? This was an example of social conditioning. They wanted you to think that. And it wasn't true. It was a hoax. It was proven to be a hoax. I mean, they even had their guy that was supposed to be able to prove everything came out and said, guys, there's nothing here. Of course not. It was a hoax. It was the same thing. You had powerful people in a position of power that wanted to control the narrative. They didn't like that their candidate or whatever didn't win the election. and they were trying to unseat a duly elected president. Okay, I'm an independent kind of guy, all right? But this was plain as day to anybody that didn't drink the Kool-Aid. It was all set up. Unfortunately, the UFO thing has been going on a lot longer, and there has never been anybody to come up and say, hey, this isn't true, just everybody, go back to what you were doing, okay? The UFO disinformation campaign is still going on. I mean, if you watch the news, anytime they talk about anything related to UFOs, they always talk about it with a snicker, with a smile, as a joke. They don't take it seriously. So that kind of program is still in effect. See, the insidious thing about social conditioning is it's self-perpetuating. That once enough people believe in that, they spread it amongst their peer groups. They spread it among their parents, their children. It keeps going. And it's very hard to stop it. I mean, to this day, how many people still think that our president is some kind of Russian spy? A lot. It would shock you. Anyway, I just wish that after I had my sighting, there would have been somebody I could have talked to about it. But there wasn't. Like I said, I'm glad that today there is. But you still have to be careful. Now, you guys out there that are really into this subject, please be careful. Be careful to who you talk to. There are people that are in authority above you that could affect your job, your livelihood and things, that if you say the wrong thing about this, they could hold it against you. Maybe even fire you. Of course, they wouldn't use that reason. They'd find some other reason to get rid of you. So don't take those kind of chances. I mean, we all want to be happy, live our life, earn a living, support our families. So be careful. I mean, even if you have to kind of operate in the shadows or whatever, do it for yourself. There's no pot of gold. There's no trophy at the end of the rainbow on this, okay? It's a long-term deal. Do it for yourself. And if you finally see enough evidence that you finally say, there are other beings in this galaxy, they're alive, they're intelligent, they're coming here. That's great, but that's your deal, okay? I don't think we'll ever get the government to do a full disclosure, but I'll go into that in another video. Anyway, guys, please play it safe. But the truth seekers out there, I applaud you. I really do. And I wish you the best. I hope you found what you're looking for. I really do. I know what I saw, and there's no other explanation for what I saw. So, like I said, my reality is it's real. The phenomenon is real. If you find that out for yourself, great. I don't know if you'll be able to convince the government to do the full disclosure thing, but maybe some people will. I don't know. Just there's a lot of people that don't want to know the truth, and we'll never be able to convince them otherwise. So don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Okay? Anyway, thanks for watching the video. And for those of you that watched the first one, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll see you next time.